Hi, I'm Gary Smith. Welcome back. Our vendor spotlight features James Truscott. Over the years, James has worked as a building inspector in the Dallas Metro. Often his job included testing smoke detectors, and sometimes he'd ask the tenant if he could borrow a broom or a mop or a walking cane, anything that would help him get to the unit in those out-of-reach spots. And I'm sure you've been there. If it's not a stick, you're carrying a ladder or a stool. So in some cases, the housing unit was vacant. No broom, no mop, no cane, no anything. So to fulfill the need, he invented a pole to help him out. But it's not just a pole. It's collapsible. And there are a few other features as well. But we'll let him tell you in his own words. Enjoy our conversation with inventor of the smoke detector pole, James Truscott. Mr. James, welcome.
Good morning.
You have a really nice little website here for the smokedetectorpole.com website. I love it.
Thank you.
Talk to me about it.
Well, I was a housing inspector in Dallas, Texas area for about 12 years, and part of our requirements were to test smoke detectors in all the units that we inspected every day. It was a HUD requirement. So being vertically challenged, only about 5'7", I could not reach the standard 8-foot smoke detector and would use whatever I found handy. A stick, my inspection book, whatever I could do to reach that test button on a smoke detector.
I can identify with that. Yeah.
So I looked around, searched Google, everything I could find. I could not find anything that was what I wanted, which was a portable stick that would extend out, not collapse when you pushed on it, and be able to reach about 10 or 11 feet. Most of the ceilings today in the newer apartments and homes are around 10 feet, so I wanted something I could at least reach that far. So since I couldn't find it, I did the next best thing. I built it.
The American way. Yeah.
Yes. When there is a need, it can be met. When there's a problem, there's always a solution.
Always a solution. Yeah.
Always a solution. Yeah. So I ended up designing it. Took about 6 months to design it. Had some prototypes made up, and a couple of the other inspectors and I used the prototypes for a few months, and it worked out fine. And used it for several years while I was there at the Housing Authority as an inspector. And then in 2015, I decided that I was going to retire. So I'm retired now, in quotes, and still sell the smoke detector pole through our website. We've been selling it for about 6 years now. Mm-hmm. We've had great success with home inspectors, with maintenance men in apartment buildings, with firemen. Love it for using it to press the test button on the exit signs, and anything actually with the test button. In January, I was at the ASCII show in San Diego, American Association of Home Inspectors, and ran into a lot of home inspectors there. And I thought, well, this would be a good group that would need my product. We had great sales, great comments, and met a lot of great people there.
So you're no longer inspecting houses?
No, I'm retired.
Fully retired now?
Yes.
This year alone, home fires will cause millions of dollars in damages and even death. Apartment and home fires displace thousands. Homeowners and renters lose millions in assets. However, many of these losses could have been prevented with a working smoke detector. How do you know for sure yours is working properly? The only peace of mind comes from testing your smoke detectors on a regular basis in your home, business, or apartment. Unfortunately, most people don't.
It's such a hassle dragging a ladder around and trying to find someone to hold it for you.
It just takes so much time and effort.
With all the smoke detectors I have to test, it takes a lot of time out of my day.
Mine are so hard to get to.
As you can see, a device is needed that can test your smoke detectors without the pain and hassle of lugging around a heavy ladder. A device capable of testing in those hard-to-reach places. A device that gives you peace of mind so you can sleep at night knowing you're protected. Introducing the Smoke Detector Pole, the safe and easy way to test your smoke detectors. This patent-pending tool is made of stainless steel and is so small it fits in your pocket or tool pouch. It even has a specially designed rotating tip for pressing a rounded or recessed button. And since it extends to over 5 feet, it's never been easier to quickly and safely test your smoke detectors. If your smoke detectors are on the ceiling, high on the wall, or over furniture, the Smoke Detector Pole is the answer.
No more excuses for me. I can reach every smoke detector now.
Now, I don't have to worry about carrying around a ladder, and a two-man job becomes a one-man job.
It's so easy now. I test them all the time just to be safe.
Now, I can really cut down my inspection times.
And as an added feature, the rotating tip is magnetized. Use it to pick up dropped screws or nails that fall out of reach. The Smoke Detector Pole is perfect for homeowners, apartment living, inspectors, maintenance workers, and fire departments. Anyone who has a smoke detector. For safety, efficiency, and peace of mind, rely on the Smoke Detector Pole. There's nothing else like it. We've checked.
Hi, I'm James, inventor of the Smoke Detector Testing Pole. As a housing inspector, it is my job to make sure that people's homes are safe and secure. One of my many duties is to make sure that all dwellings I inspect have working smoke detectors. I invented the smoke detector testing pole simply to help make my job quicker and more efficient. I didn't realize at the time that my invention is a vital tool to help keep people safe and possibly save lives. With this magnetic tip, this is a tool that cannot be found anywhere else. Help us make this a tool that will help save lives. Thank you.
And I noticed you have a great little video there on the website, and for the guys listening, it's simply smokedetectorpole.com.
Right.
And you got the contact button there and a purchase button and all that. So except PayPal, looks like. Yeah.
It's all payments are processed through PayPal. I did have one inspector who was having problems clicking on our link because he already had a PayPal account, and it was taking him to his account instead of our PayPal processing. And the workaround to that is to either use your phone or tablet or device that you normally don't log into your PayPal through, or send me an email and I can send you a direct link to the checkout, which works.
Right. Sure. So, just thinking about that, I've used, umbrella handles to broom handles to sticks to all kinds of different things. So I can really identify with this product. The part that I have the most trouble with is the little button that sticks out on some models. And I noticed that the pole has a recessed end on it that fits the button.
Correct. That was my major point in the design. The most common smoke detector that landlords use is like a $6 or $7 smoke detector that you get at Home Depot, and it has a round protruding button on it. So I designed the tip to fit exactly over that button so it won't slide off. Because when I was an inspector for the housing agency, my most common thing was to ask the person that was in the house for a broom. And a round broom handle on a round button does not work. It slides off.
They don't go together well. No.
No, round on round doesn't work. So I designed it with that recess in mind. The other thing I was requested after the first year of it being in production was, why doesn't it have a magnet in it? So I said, well, why not? So the next production, and from then on, we included a magnet in the tip, which is nice if you're walking along and you drop something and it's small enough to put in your pocket. You can pull it out, extend it out, and pick it up.
Yeah, I can tell you that the times that I've dropped the screw off the electric panel beside the washing machine or beside, behind the water heater or wherever it drops, it always bounces somewhere where I can't
Right.
get it.
Right.
And that certainly would come in handy for that.
And the
Some of
the tip is rotating so that you can get down and underneath things very easily. But the main reason for the rotating tip was angled ceilings. If you have a smoke detector on an angled ceiling, you can rotate the tip and get the right angle so you can push it properly.
So the tip itself is hinged and it bends, but looks like about an inch or an inch and a half, inch and a quarter, something like that. As a bend in it, has a hinge on it, and then you can catch it at that weird angle. Some of the new detectors have the little buttons on them. They're a place that looks like maybe just right for your thumb to push in. Those
Right.
And they're kind of springy, Does it work well with that? Have you thought about putting a rubber tip on it? I did that with brooms, or actually made one, just had one in my truck and I carried it in that had just a bunch of electrical tape on the end of it that kept it from sliding off the little round button.
Right. And I've had some feedback on that. Some people that have purchased a product have taken a little rubber stuff that you get like at Home Depot where you can spray something on it and make the tip a little bit less slip resistant.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to mention, of course, that the pole has a rated force of over 3,000 grams before it'll collapse. I have a patent on that. There are little bearings inside each section so that when you push on the pole, it's not going to collapse as easily as any of those other extending poles do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can push pretty hard on something and hold it, and it's not going to collapse on you.
Yeah, it stays rigid. Yeah. Yeah, I wondered that same thing because, with most telescoping poles, they're smaller at the end.
Right.
So I would think that the end would be where you would have the most, opportunity that it would bend. So it's in completely extended, it's about 5, did I see that? 5 or 6?
5 feet, 5 feet fully extended. It's made out of stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's lightweight, but it's very strong. You can use it on sidewalls. You have the lateral force or vertical force, either way. It's pretty strong.
And has a grip handle?
Has a grip handle.
And collapses down into about
8 inches, 8.5 inches, somewhere around there.
Fit in your back pocket or your pouch easily.
Yeah, I used to carry it in my pocket when I was doing inspections. And it was also designed for that small dimensions. So a lot of inspectors will carry around like what they call like aluminum or metal book that you flip up the lid and it's got all your inspections in there, your paperwork in there. Well, there's some of them have a little tray in the bottom and it'll fit right in that little tray.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So what's the sales look like? What are you guys doing a year? Annually, you sell them all over the world. Did we talked about that earlier?
Yeah, you and I did on the side, but we started out the first year selling to HUD agencies because all the HUD inspectors needed them, of course, and all the maintenance guys used them. We started in Texas. We were licensed and set up actually in Texas where I was living at the time. So I started contacting all the HUD agencies. There's over 400 in Texas and had sales immediately. And then I moved to each state. So over the period of 2 or 3 years, I finally ended up hitting every state. And now we can say that we've sold to every state in the Union, including Alaska and Hawaii. We've sold to Canada, United Kingdoms. I just had an order I shipped to Scotland. I have a man in New Zealand who buys 20 or 30 of them at a time, and he sells them in New Zealand, resells them.
Yeah.
Australia, all over, the northern continent, and a lot of foreign countries.
And room for growth.
Room for growth. We sell probably about 150 a month. I don't really push it that hard.
Yeah.
I don't really do much advertising. But when I saw the home inspectors at the show in San Diego in January, I thought, well, here's a group of people that could really use it. I realized that in some areas, you're not required to test smoke detectors. I also realized that some home inspectors refuse to do that because it sets alarms off, and they don't want to set the alarms off and have the fire company show up. So there are some that will not need it, but I'm sure there's also a lot of home inspectors that could use it.
Have you thought about, or has anyone spoken to you about any other, I mean, because you talk to a lot of different folks with a lot of different needs, how that might work into some attachment that you could add something to it, like the duster thing on the fan, if you wanted to, clean the fan off. You've got those commercials with the guy with the big thing that, it's like real furry and what have you. Then you can clean the fan blades off. If you had some attachment that would just slip over the end of it, that would be an interesting. Then housewives and house husbands, anybody could use it to clean and what have you.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a lot of suggestions over the years. The problem is that my product is unique. It's in a niche market. If we made a lot of different extensions or adapters for it, then we would have to fill that market too. We had some firemen that have come up to me and said that some of the exit signs have a recessed button and they wanted a tip that was a little bit smaller. And I did make an adapter for that. I had one machined and made for it, but the need didn't meet the demand. In other words, right. I could have them made, but the cost would be pretty high for just a few firemen that might need it for a few exit signs that had that type of configuration. So the thing is, do you make something for it that would accommodate a few people, or do we find a need that would accommodate a lot of people?
Right. Sure. And you want to talk about price?
We had originally set the price back in 2013 for $19.97, and we kept that price all the way through last year. However, at the end of last year, my last shipment that I got at the end of last year was hit by the tariff. And it was a 25% tariff across the board, plus a percentage over a certain dollar amount. So unfortunately, we were forced to raise the price to cover our cost. And right now we're selling them for $24.95, which I feel is still a good price point. And for any orders over 20 poles or 30 poles or 50 poles, we have certain discount points.
Price breaks, Okay.
Right. We have a gentleman in Reno, Nevada, who buys them 100 at a time, and we give him a good discount.
Sure.
He resells them, but for anybody that's interested for their group, and if you have an inspector group that has 10 or 15 or 20 inspectors and you want to buy a bunch for your group, contact me directly and we'll see if we can work out a discount.
Fantastic. Super. And that's you are in, where are you? Sunny California?
No, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las
Vegas. What's going on in Las Vegas?
It's beautiful and sunny and every day.
We're floating over here in Mississippi. I'm in central Mississippi, and it has rained so much this year. It has been one cool, wet spring, and I was fortunate enough to be able to screen my back patio in this winter, and I've been enjoying these cool mornings, and they've been damp, but really it's been very enjoyable. I know it's all going to come to an end soon. Down here, it gets super, super hot. You know all about the heat there, where you are.
Well, yeah, we have heat for about 2 or 3 months, and that's it. The rest of the year is great. I certainly don't miss Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas was hot, humid, thunderstorms, tornadoes,
Tornado, yeah, the whole
hailstorms, all
bale of
that
wax,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But here it's pretty much calm and nice 9 months out of the year.
Right. James, what a treat. We're going to post this online, and if our listeners want more information about it, they can contact you at smokedetectorpole.com, and there's a contact button there on it, the buy now button. Had a really great, mentioned it earlier, a little great video, some information about you. And what a great little idea. Super.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. We'll talk soon.